Everyone, welcome. This is Dropping In on the Hundreds TV. Once a week, I come to you live from the Hundreds home base where we film this episode. I fill you in on whatever has just dropped in the online shop, which right now, if you look over on the tab, you can see it. You can also chat with other people from the Hundreds community while you shop. But let's just get straight into it. On this episode of Dropping In, I am bringing you the Hundreds Fall 2020. This is your first crack at the collection, which is broken up in stages over the next few weeks. But this is the first debut premiere of the Hundreds Fall 2020. The fall collection, historically, throughout all of the seasons of the Hundreds every year, is pretty much our best foot forward. It kind of sets the pace. Kind of makes a statement of who we are aesthetically, who we are as a brand, what we're into design-wise, and just what our personality is for the next 12 months. And so it's a really big deal. It's probably of all the seasonal collections, it is the biggest, it is the most prominent, and it has the most energy behind it. So the Hundreds Fall 2020 is now here. You can shop and buy it right here in the online shop as you're watching me on the Hundreds TV. If this is your first time tuning into tv.thehundreds.com, you are watching me live from the Hundreds home base. I'm Bobby Hundreds. I'm the co-founder and the chief creative officer, the creative director of the Hundreds. The Hundreds is a 17-year-old streetwear brand, LA-based American brand. We came from an era where streetwear meant a completely different thing, and now, almost two decades later, we have become an international brand, known for a lot of our collaborations, known for our storytelling, known for our journey, our own entrepreneurial journey, which you can read all about in my memoir. It's called This Is Not a T-Shirt. It's now available in paperback wherever books are sold if you're trying to learn more about this company and who it is that you're supporting. And we've just had a very interesting year, you know, while we're on the subject of the brand and its mission and its narrative. It's been an interesting year for you as well, as far as COVID is concerned, as far as social upheaval is concerned. And so I never even thought that we would get to a point where we'd see fall of 2020, but it's practically here. Summer is ending. Bummer, back to school, even though there's pretty much no school. This is our collection. So the Hundreds Fall 2020, this is your first crack at it today. I have some special guests. I'm going to be bringing in Erica Hernandez, who is our apparel designer here at the Hundreds, our head apparel designer. Erica's going to walk us through the collection, explain some things for us. We have a really amazing team. When people talk about, you know, why our clothes look so good and great, I have to point and attribute it to our design team. We also have our head graphic designer, David Hernandez, who's going to be walking us through this season of t-shirts. We have some really, really cool, loud, personality-based t-shirts, lots of concept art, a lot of really cool storytelling imbued in some of these designs. So first, we're going to start off by walking you through the cut and sew segment of the Hundreds Fall 2020. And I'd like to invite Erica Hernandez into the room. Erica, who is not accustomed to doing interviews, we have somehow convinced her by letting her believe that this is just a private Zoom, a one-on-one with me, Bobby, her friend, and we're just going to talk about clothes, right, Erica? We're just going to do that for like 5 minutes. Does that sound good?
Hi, yeah.
I pulled some of my favorite pieces out. This is not the entire range. I just wanted to talk to her about a few things here and there. Since she is on the daily grinding it out with her team, we have Brenda, who's also assisting her. We have David Rivera, who we call Heavy, who also assists, and David Hernandez, who works with graphics. Erica is pretty much leading the charge, and I wanted to begin with this series of pieces. It is probably the loudest statement from us in terms of editorial speaking, a lot of what the lookbook looks like. It is, I guess, I don't know if you had a name for the pattern itself, but the hoodie is called the Delta. The jacket is called the Chore jacket. And the shirt is the Disrupt, which are all now available in the online shop. You can shop these as we're talking through them. But did you have a name for the actual pattern itself, Erica?
Oh, we're calling it the Dazzle Camel. It's based on Dazzle camel prints from World War I that were used on Navy ships. Um, it was used to throw off perception of distance. And we were also inspired by Jeff Koons' piece done called Guilty, where he took this pattern and he did it on a luxury yacht.
Yeah, which is how I first remember seeing it. It's been up on my mood board forever. Which I think Jeff Koons did that yacht like maybe 10 years ago now. But I'm not like a yacht guy, but it is probably the coolest yacht you've ever seen. So it's Dazzle Camo, and it's interesting you said that. As I was holding these up, I realized this camo does seem to really mess with like trying to figure out like exactly where it is spatially in terms of what's happening. Up close, it's just like such a crazy, like sick looking pattern, but it tends to blend into everything very, very strangely.
Yeah.
This chore jacket, we've made this before, right?
We always do like versions of chore jackets. This one's different just with the pockets. The chest pockets continue down to the kangaroo pocket. So it's one big panel, but you still have 4 different pockets. And then it's got the corduroy collar. And then we have our logo taping that has our bar logo down the back seam. So a nice little logo detail.
Yeah, it's probably easier to see on this colorway of it, which is the black chore jacket. On the back here, we have this taping where you can kind of see this repeating bar logo that runs also against these side seams here, which I thought was a cool touch because it makes it feel like it is like a classic Americana workwear style jacket, but then these added little trim here makes it feel pretty modern and forward.
Yeah, makes it ours.
That's really. Are there more than these 2 colors of this jacket?
For that jacket?
Yeah.
It's just those 2 colorways for the chore jacket.
Okay, cool. I'm probably more of a this guy, but
yeah.
I think most of our customers are pretty much more along the lines of that guy. The next piece that I want to focus on, we don't have the yellow one here, which is the colorway that I like. It's called the Houndstooth short sleeve. The Houndstooth is got this centered direct embroidered rich logo, which is what we call it. It's kind of like a cursive script of the hundreds. But do you want to walk us through the pattern?
Yeah, I'm wearing that one. It's one of my favorite pieces. This fabric's just special because it's a jacquard knitted fabric. So the houndstooth texture is knitted into it. It's like a subtle texture, but it's like a mature t-shirt if you want to wear something a little bit more sophisticated with a solid black collar.
Yeah. One of the kind of design language things that we've done with the hundreds through the years is we like to balance these kind of bright pop colors with blacks and monochromatic and tonal blacks. There's a lot more to it, story-wise, to do with being inspired by like the 80s and the 90s and being inspired by dark colors and brights. Chiaroscuro and sfumato, which is more like Renaissance art style interpretations of playing with contrast and shadows. And so I think this kind of very much represents who we are. From a distance, you can tell that's a shirt that the hundreds would make. We have this like really cool subtle pattern. It's loud, it's colorful, but then we have a base of black on this as well. So is that your favorite piece, Erica?
It's one of my favorites, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I have it on right now. I really like that one.
In one of our lookbooks that's floating around on social media right now, our good friend Joey, who's modeling, is wearing this piece, and it seems to be getting a lot of statements here. So this is called the Elysian jersey. It's it's kind of like a traditional baseball jersey, but we also have like the cinch cord here at the bottom.
Mhm.
Why don't you tell us more about
Yeah.
it?
So this was more like a take on a practice jersey. The cuffs are custom yarn dyed, and they have that mitered corner detail. And then the bottom jaw cord, just like fun details to change up jersey construction. And then our applique, tackle tool applique slant logo across the front, and then embroidered LACA, just because we're West Coast, gotta represent.
Yeah, since we are an LA-based brand, we are you know, one of our early themes was Los Angeles lifestyle, California culture. So if you pay attention to the hundreds designs at the time, it kind of comes back to that a lot and often. And also, I'm holding this in person. It's super lightweight. I feel like breathable, good for the summer.
Yeah, cool max knit jersey.
Sweet. Okay, this is another piece that has been getting some noise and some attention on our socials, which is this is the Ventura Pullover. If you're watching, you can buy this right now here on the Hundreds TV. The Ventura Pullover. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about it, Erica?
Yeah, so this is like a half button up mock neck collar. This is like an outdoorsy inspired piece. It's our lightweight fleece. It's got the color block detail, and then it's got the nylon placket and the trim around the collar and the flat pocket at the left chest. Nice little trim detail at the cuffs and the bottom opening, and then our Century Gothic logo at the left chest.
Which is right there. Erica, you're pretty instrumental in deciding on the color palette for every season. Can you just briefly walk us through how you're deciding on those Pantones and why you're going with certain colors? Like that's pretty straightforward, but then when you're choosing the specific Pantones for like this burgundy Bordeaux wine color, this kind of
Yeah.
green color, like where does that come from?
Well, we always do like our core color palette, and it'll be, you know, our basic traditional colors that we run, navy, and then from there we'll just decide like what tone we're filling for the season. And then once we choose our core palette, then we start choosing accent colors, like the pop colors you see as the details, or the pop colors you see in our all over prints or stripes, anything that accents those primary colors, and that's how we build it out from there.
Cool. Okay, you are almost off the hook. We're getting near the end with our time with Erica. Right now, everyone at home, you're watching, dropping in. This is a weekly show that I, Bobby Hundreds, the co-founder of the Hundreds, host, where I just kind of walk you through whatever the latest drop was. Last week, we had a big show with Back to the Hundreds. That was our second Back to the Future collaboration. That episode is actually still up on tv.thehundreds.com if you want to watch it. Today, right now, actually, as of just a few minutes ago, we released the Hundreds Fall 2020, our seasonal collection, arguably our biggest and most prominent seasonal collection of the year. And I am interviewing, featuring our special guest, Erica Hernandez, who's the head of apparel design here at the Hundreds. And she's just walking us through some of the cut and sew pieces. We're about to get to the graphics soon as well. So this is the fossil woven, and this is the Relic Pullover. That right. And I pulled them together because they're both using this graphic that we've been running on some stuff. And this graphic comes from.
So this is our Mastodon print, and this was inspired by our shop build out on Fairfax. Inside, it's got the Mastodons covered in tar and all our relics over the years that have been collected that are also covered in tar in the build out. But this print's really special just because it's engineered and it's all fully lined up at the seams, and it's like a border print across the bottom on both garments. The button up is a lightweight rayon, so it's good for right now that it's still hot. And then the pullover is our midweight fleece. Um, and then the sleeves also have the print to match up.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool detail right there. We even ran it on this mug, which we can get to accessories later, but we're selling this mug also with that same Mastodon print on it as well. And yeah, Erica touched on it earlier, but this comes from the Hundreds Los Angeles, which is our physical retail flagship here in LA. We have this basically installed and on exhibition every day inside the store, which from what I understand, may have just reopened today or tomorrow, I believe is reopening. So don't quote me on that, but I do know that we are reopening the store for the first time since the lockdown began on the corner of Fairfax and Rosewood if you're in LA. All right, we'll really briefly run through this one. This is the Eaton Vest. I just pulled it out because I think it's another strong like statement piece from fall 2020. You want to give us a quick little spiel on this one?
Yeah, so vests are just cool. They're easy to layer over a t-shirt or a hoodie. And so this was inspired by a fisherman vest. We have the solid black one that's easy to wear, and then the pop lime green one. It's got a bunch of bellows pockets, zipper pockets, snap closures, and then it has our bar logo, high density print at the left chest and at the back. And then it has like a heavy duty mesh lining. Yeah.
And I think my favorite cut and sew piece from the fall 2020 line from the Hundreds is this. It's the Griffin Anorak, and we've done a lot of anoraks over the years. This one is different.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
This one's different because it's really lightweight and it's not all color blocked like the typical anoraks. It's a little more subdued and it just has this contrast tonal taping. And it has these mesh panels along the bottom of the sleeves and across the front hood mask. So it's all for breathability. It's also you can still wear an anorak or a layering piece while it's still warm outside. It has a high density logo print across the front, half zip opening at the front, and then our zipper pockets, and then that top zipper pocket across the chest. Yeah, it's lightweight. You can pack it, throw it in your bag easily. It won't take up too much space. This is a great piece. I really like how this one came out.
Yeah, I love how this came out too. The colors are really good. And this type, again, yeah, like Erica was saying, that this type of piece is super versatile in different climates. It's lightweight and breathable, so you're not going to get super sweaty in it. But if it all of a sudden there's a downpour, or if it's a little chilly at night, you could like throw that on as a layering thing. The colors are super sick. You know, again, as I was saying earlier, the contrast between blacks and monochromatic blacks from the Hundreds, and then these pastel colors that we also have, like a base of black right here as well. You can see from just the mesh line here. So the last thing I'm going to have you touch upon as far as cut and sew goes is are these shorts I'm wearing?
Yeah.
What are these called?
These are the Union shorts, and this also has like a matching hoodie too. That's the Relic Pullover. But these were fun to design. We made it look like we matched up two garments together. Like we cut up two different logos. And like the top arch logo is chenille embroidery. And then the bottom slant logo is puff print. Yeah, these are super fun. They really look like two garments mashed up into one.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen split stuff before, but I think that this is probably the best I've seen it done in terms of execution, in terms of production also, just getting a lot of this stuff aligned right.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool just looking at it. But yeah, and the colors also jive really well. And these are the shorts I'm wearing right now. So if you are watching, they're the Union sweat shorts, Union sweatshirt. You can buy them right now as you're watching the Hundreds TV. You are off the hook, Erica. Thank you to Erica for
Yay.
thank you to Erica for talking to us through the cut and sew portion of the collection. And now we're going to go to David Hernandez. David Hernandez is our head graphic designer here at the Hundreds, and he's going to just walk us really quickly through some of the t-shirts that you're seeing available right now through the fall 2020 collection from the Hundreds. David has been with us, gosh, I guess I should ask him. First question, David, how long have you been with the Hundreds now designing?
Since October, 8 months.
It's only been 8 months? Okay. I thought
Yeah, time flies. I mean, Corona months, it's like 6 years, you know?
Exactly. And Corona months were dead. So, but yeah, I guess it's only been 8 months. That's crazy. So in that short amount of time, David has played such an integral part of the design team and been able to express who we are through the language of graphic design, not just through t-shirts, but through everything else where graphics end up on. For example, like this water bottle here. Yeah, they fall everywhere. Graphics are an immediate way for us to tell a story, for an immediate way for us to, a direct way for us to kind of communicate or translate something that's on our minds or how we feel. Sometimes through the course of designing other stuff like cut and sew, it's a little bit more of a roundabout conversation, a little bit more conceptual and abstract, but with graphics, it's a direct conversation piece. My favorite graphic is the one I'm wearing right now, which David didn't design himself, but who did actually come up with this design? We should acknowledge the elephant in the room, David. Who was it?
It's someone who's no longer here.
But not that he's not here with us on this planet. Like, as far as we know, he's alive and doing well, and his name is Julius, who was my former assistant. He's my former assistant. The worst job on the planet is having to deal with me and my lunch every day. But Julius, multifaceted Renaissance man that he was, he's also a very accomplished designer, and he came up with this graphic. He did it, and the name of this graphic is, what are we calling it?
I think we call it Dawn.
Days. Days?
Days.
Days. Days. Okay, so this shirt that I'm wearing right now, I like it most of all for, look, there's a number of reasons why people like it, but the colors is probably the reason why I like it the most. I think it's super summery. But yeah, that shirt is now available here on the Hundreds TV as you're watching. We can also talk about this shirt right here, the bum tee.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite graphics. It's one of the graphics that one of our former designers, Eddie, worked on, and I really like it because it reminds me a lot of like a t-shirt you'd find at the thrift store or at like a truck stop. You know, it's just a classic like Americana flip. With a little bit of like our Hundreds flavors, you know, another lousy day in paradise. Could be better, could be worse. And I think it's perfect for the moment now.
It really is. Like I've been saying throughout COVID that, you know, we live in a paradise in a pandemic, you know, here in LA. Like it's strange because we kind of live in one of the best cities on earth. And if you look up, everything seems to be pretty much hunky-dory and fine, but here on the floor, it's chaos. So, and we didn't intend to have this fall in the middle of a pandemic, but it just seems to have really worked out well that we wrote something like that. Another lousy day in paradise. Okay, the next shirt, I can talk a little bit more about this next shirt, which is this shirt. It says "End Hate." I actually designed this a long time ago, years ago, and it's funny because it kind of just sat in my folder, and at some points it seemed, in fact, in one point it said "End White Supremacy," and it seemed too aggressive at the time, almost not offensive, but it was like almost too radical for us to put this out like 5-6 years ago. And so it just kind of sat in the back of the folder. And then I changed it to say end hate to make it more generalized, I guess, and to attack all kinds of hate that we're now seeing in the world. But again, that also just sat in the design folder for a while. And when we were putting together this collection, we kind of threw it in as a last minute addition, just because it seemed like the climate was finally appropriate and people are finally down with the message. I think it's just become universal across the board. Now it's not just me thinking it or the designers here, but it's pretty widely spread that, you know, we have a serious issue in this country and in this world right now, and we do need to meet it head on, and we should talk about it. And so t-shirts being a great way to provoke dialogue between people, you really can't get away from talking about social issues when you're wearing a shirt that says this. And so we made many different colorways of this t-shirt. There's also a long sleeve, and the outer print is this floral wreath is screen printed. The center is embroidered, and it says the hundreds at the bottom as well. And then that is embroidered also. So it's a mix of embroidery and screen printing. This is a graphic that David, you worked on, and you want to tell us a little bit more about this one?
Yeah, no, so that was actually the first graphic that I did shortly after I started working here. That's a flip on a scene towards the end of Fantasia. There's this moment during the movie where there's these crocodiles crawling over this like Greek Roman mausoleum as they're preying on a hippo, and I took that and kind of reworked it, redrew it on paper, refined it, and brought back, you know, our mascot, the hyena, and one of our more popular slogans, upset the setup. So when you think about like, you know, Roman, Greek, you know, columns, it's this idea of like permanence and rule. And, you know, I added a little bit of crumbling. The hyenas are kind of, you know, upsetting that setup, literally. There are 3 really dope colorways that I really, really like. My favorite's the one in the black, partial to black. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this graphic. I'm really, really partial to old like cartoons, mid 50s illustration. So that was some bread and butter for me.
As am I. So that's available right now. It is the setup graphic t-shirts. This looks like a blank shirt. It's this right here. And then we also have hoodies, right?
Yep, there's a hoodie. The graphic is on the back as well as a front crest. And then on the sleeves, you get upset the setup and set up the upset. So a little play on words with our slogan there.
There it says set up the upset, and on the other sleeve it says upset the setup. Yeah, that's really nicely executed. Good job, you're hired. And the last shirt I'm going to walk you through is the Tyler shirt. I teased this on my personal Instagram under Bobby Hundreds this morning. It's an excerpt from Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. If you've ever read the book, there's also, of course, a really fantastic movie and a great monologue in that film, which is about being the middle children of history. I'm actually going to just read it out loud because I feel like it's very poignant and relevant to the climate today. It says, remember this, the people you're trying to step on, we are everyone you depend on. We're the people who do your laundry and cook your food and serve your dinner. We make your bed. We guard you while you're asleep. We drive the ambulances. We direct your call. We are cooks and taxi drivers, and we know everything about you. We process your insurance claims and credit card charges. We control every part of your life. We are the middle children of history, raised by television to believe that someday we'll be millionaires and movie stars and rock stars, but we won't, and we're just learning this fact, so don't fuck with us. And the Fight Club, if you read that book again, or if you watch it, or if it's your first time, you will see how much it resonates with what's going on within today's period of social unrest, and how the younger generation, especially if you're an older person like me, how they are feeling about their hope and their opportunity and the world that they're being left behind by a generation of Americans and global citizens who were pretty selfish in a lot of their decision making. And today, even still, young people are supporting old people and living comfortably. And that was pretty much the last generation, the older generations, to be able to see this sense of the American dream that they came in basically exploited, were opportunistic about, and just left scraps for the rest of the kids. And so I feel like, you know, I understand and empathize a lot with this sentiment, but I feel like the younger generation of Americans can really speak to this better than I ever could, as far as like how they stand and their outlook on, you know, what country, what nation we have left them. And of course, we are now relying on them to fix it. And it's completely fucked. And so I think this graphic, even though it was designed over a year ago, somehow makes even more sense today in 2020 in the fall than it did back then. So this is my personal favorite t-shirt of it all. It's just one of my favorite books and movies, but the statement itself, I feel, really encapsulates where we're going, especially in an election year, especially less than 100 days out from the election. So I'll end that piece with, please register to vote. We have to vote. Please vote. That's it for our time with David Hernandez, I think. Oh, unless we should go through, let's go through Headwear. Can we do that, David? Are you good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So David Rivera is on the road right now. So David Hernandez, there's a couple of Hernandezes, there's a couple Davids here in the building. We're all in design, but we're all helping each other today.
No relation amongst all of us.
What's that?
No relation amongst all of us somehow.
Somehow. My kids love this hat. I've been wearing it a lot. It's kind of this, I don't know the name of it.
That's the Smiley Adam.
Smiley Adam.
Yeah. Gravel snapback, to be exact.
Cool. That's available right now on the Hundreds TV. Erica talked a little bit about this split design. I don't know the name of the hat. We have the sweatshirt, we have the shorts.
The cut snapback.
Cut snapback. So that links up with the rest of the other pieces, but I'm assuming that one's going to be a big success right there.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorites. I think the challenge with Headwear and our logos after 17 years is finding new and interesting ways of putting all those pieces together. And I think Heavy did a really, really great job with these. It's fresh eyes on old favorites.
Totally. My favorite snapback is this one. It is called the Jumble snapback. There's also a turquoise version of this, which people can see Joey wearing in our lookbook, our model Joey. This is very classic. It feels very 90s to me. And we have a bunch of beanies, crisp beanies, right? Which are just kind of like a staple from us. Some people, I almost feel like we should put these on a subscription service because everyone has a crisp beanie in their back pocket. The Team Snapback, which was our very first hat 17 years ago and continues to be a foundational headwear item from the Hundreds. We always offer it every season. It is a rip off of the old starter style sports team snapbacks from the 80s. And we changed it to say Los Angeles the Hundreds, like we're a team. Because we are a team. So it's called the Team Snapback, and there's always new colors of these every season. People like to collect them. There you go. I think that's pretty much it. We have a bunch of accessories that you should check out. We have these really cool keychains, if we can focus in on these, and lighters. My friend Sonny, who Cokes AWR. He used to be he still is a major graffiti artist in the city, associated with Seventh Letter. He worked a lot with Spike Jones, but he's done some really cool graphics for us, graffiti-wise. We have these great patches that are very much reminiscent of Discharge, brains, heart, and fists. Brains, hearts, and fists, which is one of our taglines here at the Hundreds. Socks, which are all available now. We have a bunch of pins. But that's it. Thanks to David for guesting on today's episode of Dropping In. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And also thank you to Erica earlier, our head of apparel here at the Hundreds, for walking us through the collection and the Cut and Sew range from fall 2020. I guess I should end it with telling you what my favorite pieces are. If you haven't been able to tell already, it's this shirt I'm wearing right now. I believe it's called the Days t-shirt that Julius designed. We also have these shorts, which are called the Union shorts, right? I'm always bad with names, but the Union shorts right here. Super comfortable. I'm gonna rock these every day. It's cut and sew wise. I love the chore jacket. I actually like the black one more than the one with the pattern on it, but the pattern is also super sick. But I just love this taping throughout the piece. It's, again, mixing a modern jacket with something that's more traditional. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much about it. So thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget, you can buy everything right now. The Hundreds Fall 2020. Thank you for shopping. Thank you for watching today. And keep watching the Hundreds TV. We're here all week. I'll be back again next week with another Dropping In, where I'll be doing a special component of the Hundreds Fall 2020. It is a part of our first delivery, but it is a continuation. It is not the second part, but it falls somewhere in the middle. It is an ongoing process and dialogue of who we are as a brand in fall 2020. It is the second drop of the first drop that we've done without the first drop being done. Okay? And it might have some atom bomb stuff in it. So thanks for watching. Follow me and Bobby Hundreds everywhere. Peace.